Hey there. I know you're probably thinking, was he going to forget about Tuesday Tune In? Of course, he's not going to forget about Tuesday Tune In. Coming to you a little late on a Tuesday. I just had a busy day and I'm just now getting to the point where I can get to our get together. And so I wanted to talk to you today about a couple things. Obviously, keep up the posts. I've been loving seeing a lot of the interaction on the discussion, as well as the self assessment pieces have been really good, and the journal entries have also been great, especially as we think about accessibility and how many people whose eyes have been opened around that particular topic. And there was a lot of common threads, I think, in the accessibility, the UDL assignment, especially the journal one. Many people pointed to their actual COVID experience really helping to lean them in towards that universal design perspective and how that affected how they design for their students. And I just found that interesting, all the threads that were kind of being tied together in that same vein. So keep up the great posts and the great submissions. They're great. I wanted to talk to you today. We had a couple of questions that around the insert image assignment where I had you go into your template course and add an image into that third unit if you read the instructions. I had some questions around, does the image always have to be part of a document? And the answer is no, it's just added a little differently. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is how you can add an image inside a module without adding it in as part of a document, just on its own. So for instance, were I to look at this particular course here and go to modules, let's say inside module 3, I wanted to add an image, but not add a document. I just wanted the students to be able to go from one thing to an image to the next thing. So let's say I wanted to put it in between objectives and video sample, right? How would I do that? Well, I would click on my plus button, and instead of going to create a document, I would choose upload. So I go to upload, and at that point, what I would do is I would browse my images, right? So in this case, I would find an image that is going to work for me. In this case, I'll just use a banner, right? And for or one of my things. So let's just say I do the objectives banner, right? And I'm going to choose open. And so what that's going to do is first thing is, okay, Jacob, what's the display name? So this is a little different, and we'll talk about this in a second. But do I want them to view and download, or view and only? And I might just display name is module objectives banner, because I know that's what it is, right? Or whatever it was. It was some kind of banner. And I have options of viewing and download, view or download. So I'm just going to choose view and hit save. So now you'll see currently it's hidden from students. It has that nice little slash through it, right? But I can go, and when I click on it, this is an image. It's actually a screenshot of module objectives from one of our modules. I wanted to show you how that works. So instead of me having to create a document to add an image into a module, I could just add in just the image. So they could go as a student, were I to take a look at this particular unit as a student, I could go to make it visible. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to preview that particular option. So I'm going to hit the preview, start my preview, and go back and look at this course and go to modules and go to module 3. And as a student, where I start on module objectives, it starts here, and then you'll see the next thing in line is that module objectives banner, which all it is an image currently. So it's not a document, it's just an image. So in that regard, you can see how I can then add an image without having to have it necessarily be a document. So that's how you would do that. Again, I just went to the unit that I wanted to add it to. In this case, I went to module 3 and go to where I want it to go and insert that plus button and choose to upload. Right now, a couple things. Currently, you'll see that my accessibility score is terrible on it. It's because it doesn't have any alt text. So I'm going to edit it. And it's going to open it up to where I can come in and provide a description for the image, right? So I could give it a description. I could come in and it's visible. So I could give it a description here and say, you know, what's the description of this particular image? It's a banner image for module objectives, right? And hit save. So all I did there was give that little thing. Now as the instructor, when I click on it, and I'm trying to move around some things, so you can see here, that just gives me the preview of it. I can access this cog up here and come in and access that same description as well there. But I wanted to let you know that there are ways for you to actually add the image in such a way that it's uploaded rather than in a document. Now, what I will say is the reason it's better to put it in the document is because it's contextual. So like I can make it relate to some text or a video or something that I'm discussing, right? Another thing is currently right now, because that image is the way it is, there's no way for me to change the alt text. While I am being descriptive, like the image itself, I've said in the description is banner image for module objectives. Unlike when I upload an image into a document, it does not allow me to give it the real alternative text. So it's important for me that if I do that I make sure to leave the text. So in this respect, when using the image upload rather than embedding in a document, you lose out because of the lack of accessibility unless you go around it. Ally will show you that it's still inaccessible even though you have a description for it here. So another reason why we recommend using the document in itself as a way to add images is that it allows for that kind of thing. So in this case, I can go to module objectives, hit my plus, do create, do a document. But herein lies the neat trick, right? I could do this new document calling it image test and come in and do add content, or I can choose upload from computer here. Either one of these is going to work just fine. So if I choose upload from computer and then go and choose a banner and hit open, it's actually going to give me the ability to type in the alternative text for that banner and let students know, you know, this is what we want you to do. In the same way as if I were to just add content and attach the image and choose a banner or an image in a doc inside of a content, it gives me that same alternative text option here, right? Whereas when we did it just in the actual content here and chose upload from computer, right? Upload here and did image, it does not give me the alt text. It just gives me the display name. And that is not good design, nor is it proper in terms of accessibility. So anyway, I say all of that to say that there are other ways you can get images in there, but we still recommend either using the document itself and uploading directly to the document, or adding a content area inside the document and adding and attaching it there because of that alt text. A couple other things I wanted to tell you about while I have your attention, and I'll try to make this quick. We have given you this template as your template course, but you're not limited to just this template. Your designer can actually give you access to 2 other types of templates that we have designed for you. So in this case, right now, you've got this template that has the one modules area in it, and it's got multiple separate module folders. Well, we've got 2 other templates that you can reach out to your designers and ask about that are set up a little differently. In this case, in this template, you'll notice that each one of the modules has its own separate learning module. So there's no folders in it. So it's just the learning module with the content in it, right? Same thing with module 2 and just the content. So that's one of the other templates that we've given you. And then lastly, the third template that we've given you, or that we can give you if you talk to your designer, has a different, more complex setup, right? So if I were to come down to my content and go here under module 1, you'll see that inside module 1 there are 3 units, and module 2 might have 3 units. And so you can see I could have 5 modules with 3 units in a piece to encapsulate that whole 15-week process or whatever you might want to have for that. Just know that there's no limit. In the same way, the design of the the templates that we've given you is a little different even than the design for the course. So for instance, in the module, in the template that I've given you, I need to get out of, no, my student preview's not going. In the template that I've given you, each of these module folders have individual chunks of content in it, right? Whereas for me, they have individual chunks of content, but I've made the content be a little more scrolling oriented. So after the module objectives for each unit, you get that whole scroll through the content experience that we've given you, kind of more of that, more of an aesthetic, some design aesthetic in it, and some other things. So you can see it's more like a digital textbook, if you will, right? So anyway, I say all those things to say that just remember there are multiple ways for you to get that image in there. Again, to give you kudos on getting all that stuff in. Just a reminder, coming up, if I were to look at this, we have our next set of due dates coming up this Thursday. The replies for the Elements of Design discussion are due by the 16th. So if I were to come back to there we go. As well as then you get into the next module on student learning outcomes or student learning objectives. So those two activities are due on the 16th as well. And then Sunday, we get into the multimedia module, which is fun. I like this particular module. One of the assignments that we'll have you doing for the Sunday's activities that are due is the welcome video. And doing one of those just to get you in the practice of creating your own video, just like I'm doing here. And specifically have you using Kaltura for that one. But that being said, I hope you've picked something up out of this week's Tuesday Tune In. I'm sorry that it's taken a little longer today to get it to you. It has just been crazy today. So I hope you're all doing well. Remember to reach out to us. You can plop it in the virtual office discussion forum, or you can just email us directly, and we'll try to be able to help you in any way that we can. I hope you have a good evening and a good rest of your week.